All right, so I've been waiting about a month to finally do this. I'm going to be setting up my little watercolor palette, or kind of my big watercolor palette. Past like, I don't know, couple months, I've been slowly buying different watercolors, mostly Daniel Smith colors, because I want to kind of stay with one brand. For me, it makes it easier when trying something new. I'm pretty new to watercolor. I've done it throughout the years, but never like dedicated a lot of time to it. Like, I never really had like fancy watercolors. I've just had like a grabby palette that I got from Amazon, stuff like that. But yeah, I wanted to dive more into it. I kind of want to do watercolor plein air as well. Like when I don't want to spend as much time as like doing an oil painting, or maybe as much supplies as of doing like an oil painting. I'm going to take you along to show you picking what colors are going in and kind of showing you how I'm going to set it up. All right, so it has, when you open up, these two trays that pop out. So this other little palette clips onto the front. You can see how huge your mixing space is. And then these ones that were on the top when you opened it, just go onto the sides here. So this is obviously a pretty big palette. I plan to use it maybe plein air, but mostly like at home doing watercolors. I have, I believe 24, let's see. So 24 plus 4 half pans. So this thing could fit a lot of watercolor. Now let's see what colors are going to be going into this. Close it, just clip all these back. It also has these thumb rings, so you can hold your palette. Alright, and then I have these clear drawers where I keep all of my gouache, acrylic gouache, and then on the bottom are my watercolor tubes and little palettes that I have. Alright, so I have already organized them by color group. So I see my browns or earth tones into my yellows, into the reds, greens, blues, and purples. So when I put them in my palette, I'm going to try to keep them kind of in that same order, I think. Okay, let's see. Let's count how many colors I have. Actually, I have a little thing, spreadsheet that can tell me how many colors I have. All right, so based off my chart, I have 39 watercolors to choose from. That's a lot more than I thought I had. All right, so let's narrow that down. Let's see. Okay, so I counted 33 different colors. What would I eliminate? I have to eliminate 5. So I'll probably use this here. I don't know. I want them all. They all seem important. Okay, let's start filling. All right, so I just wanted to add here, since I didn't mention it, the way I chose my colors was I had to eliminate 5 of my colors. So I took out like a green that looked just like another green that I had, one of my yellows that also looked like another yellow I had. So kind of that's how I eliminated a few of my colors. To me, the biggest toss-up was like my French ochre to my yellow ochre, and I just went with French ochre simply because I have never used it before. And I feel like yellow ochre I could achieve by mixing maybe a cad with the French ochre. But anyways, that's how I chose to eliminate the colors here. My burnt umber. Definitely don't have enough to fill a full pan. Put that to the side so I know I need to buy some. Right. Let's at least get it down to the bottom of the pan. So if I buy more, I could just put it on top. Burnt sienna. I have these little paint tube rollers, so hopefully it can help me roll out the last bits here at the end. I don't think I've ever had full pans before. It takes a lot of paint. Raw sienna. These bigger tubes hold so much more paint, makes life so much easier. Get into all the corners. Less air bubbles, less chance of it cracking and wanting to come out. Transparent brown oxide. I'm gonna try to keep them in my tray here in the order I'm putting them in so that I know what colors are which. After I finish this row, I might start taking some notes so that in case things get mixed up. So a lot of these new paints came from buying like a couple of Daniel Smith sets from like different artists. So I was able to try all these like unique colors. All right, Sepia. Very excited for this one. When I have raw umber, which I kind of want it to be there next to the burnt umber. I wonder how hard it would be to move these pans. Okay, maybe not now. When they're dry, we'll move them. So I think I'm going to do is make this first row and then I'll start recording again when I get close to the end. No need to make you watch me do the same thing like 28 times. All right, I'll see you again when I'm at the end. Okay, so I'm like maybe a little over halfway done filling the tray, and I just had to come on to say that I am so excited. Like seeing it fill up is giving me so much joy, and I've been waiting so long to fill this palette up, and I can't wait to use these. Yeah, it's coming out really good. Ooh, indigo. If you follow Hello Lovely People on Instagram, she is a beautiful watercolor artist, and through her, I've learned to love indigo. She does this challenge through the Patreon, which I think she shows on her YouTube too. It's a tiny paintings challenge I've done, I think 6 or 7 of her tiny paintings. I got a little sidetracked when I started my YouTube and doing plein air. I've been dedicating a lot of my time to doing plein air, but it's really fun. And honestly, I signed up for a Patreon just to do those tiny painting challenges. They're great. Like, she goes at a great pace, so you can like follow along with her, and it kind of helped me a lot learning how to use the watercolors and how to layer them. And she also does like paint-alongs, which I done one with her. It was like a couple hours long, I think, and that taught me a lot, and also made me kind of fall in love with the watercolors, and that kind of inspired me to start this project of buying all these colors the past couple months. Ooh, we're almost done. I'm gonna put Lunar Blue in there. And I think I'll put my purples here. Mostly because I've never really used purples, to be honest, like an any medium. So I'm not sure how much I'll use them. And if I do, I'll learn in the future that I need a full pan. But for now, I'm gonna put my purples over here, along with these other kind of new to me colors that I'm not sure I will use. And if I do, we're gonna learn by using this palette. All right, now let's do my little half pans. I'll be doing Pyrrole Orange, Opera Pink, Moon Glow, and Imperial Purple on the sides. And the paints are dry, I'm going to swatch in here. I'm very excited to see how they all look on paper. Ooh, so excited. It's finally happening. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Gonna go check on my paint. What, does anybody else keep their paints in their microwave? Just trying to keep it away from the cat hair while it dries. Also, don't look at how dirty it is. You didn't see that. All right, so I just want to do a little check-in. It is the day after I filled the watercolor palette, and it's looking beautiful, but it's still drying. You see here, there's even some cracking going on. I might do an extra fill after I swatch. But I work the next 2 days anyways, so I'll give it 2 more days to dry. And then I think my next day off, we'll be doing some swatching and then maybe a little painting, just to kind of test out the colors, see how they look on paper. But I'm really excited and I can't wait to show you guys. But yeah, I'll see you in a couple days. Hello. Welcome back to my studio. So my watercolor palette has been cooking on high for 3 days. So it definitely should be dry enough to use. Let's see. Yep. Hot and ready to eat. So, my plan today is to do swatching of all these colors. When I was putting them into the pans, as you can remember, I wrote them all down on a piece of paper, and that way I can just swatch them and then have a little cheat sheet ready to go. So anytime I use this palette, especially as I'm getting used to it, I know what the colors look on paper. So I'm really excited. I've been waiting 3 days to use these colors, and well, kind of like 2 months to use these colors, because I've been buying them for a couple of months, just like waiting to put this palette together. So let's get to painting. All right, so who is ready for color one? Me. It's me. I'm ready. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with all the solid full pans here, and then I'll do the last four on the side, the half pans. And pour burnt umber. I did buy some more that should be coming in today, I think. Barely got any in there. Too much water, maybe? Let's get burnt sienna on there. Try to put these black lines on there to see if any of these colors are like more opaque, and then how much that line will show through. Raw sienna. So try to do less water. It's not enough. This one's transparent brown oxide. I've never used this color before. Ooh, oh yes. That's like the brown of my dreams. Ooh. Beautiful. Ooh, sepia. I cannot wait to swatch sepia. Ooh, oh yes. That's what we're talking about. I always thought I was a burnt umber girl, especially like an oil painting. I use burnt umber all the time, but ooh, sepia might be a new favorite brown. Raw umber. It's so interesting to see how all these colors look in watercolor as opposed to using them in oil paints or even gouache. So different. So for the next few rows here, I decided to speed the video up a little bit because it really is just the same process over and over again for every square. And this video would have been like 2 hours long if I didn't speed it up. But I still wanted you to see the swatching because it is interesting to watch. Like which colors come out opaque, which ones are very translucent. And if you're trying to decide on colors yourself, this might be helpful to see still. But I'm excited about these half pans on the side here. Moving forward, when I test them out, I end up actually really liking them. The really bright colors really add a lot when mixing them to like the more basic colors. Oh, hello. So I just swatched everything, and I'm actually pretty proud of myself. I mean, look, I don't feel like any two colors are too alike. You know, and that was like kind of my goal when picking colors for this palette, is to have, you know, a lot of options, a wide array, but I don't feel like any of them look too similar. I was kind of worried about the greens, thinking maybe I had too many similar greens, but I feel like they all kind of bring their own weight here and different thing to the table when it comes to color mixing, and I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for cool landscape paintings here. Yeah, I guess we can just start testing them out in maybe a little scribble page, a little test page. If we get to like a real final painting, if we could fit that in today, I'll do that. But first, let's just kind of loosey-goosey try these guys out. But I'm so excited. The colors are just as good on paper as they are in the palette. So let's get to some painting, yeah? All right, it's time to get some brush mileage in with this new palette here. First, I'm starting with mixing kind of indigo with cad red, and I'm mixing these colors completely at random, based totally off vibes. But in the end, I love every single color combination, so I feel like this palette has so much potential, so many cool colors that can be mixed. Even just the simple first one, once it dries, looks pretty cool. Now, I've watched a lot of watercolor artists over the past year or so, trying to get more comfortable with the idea of, using watercolor more. And after watching artists like Sarah Byrne Studio or Oliver Pyle, they always take the time to, play with their colors, make swatches like this, and that's kind of where I formed the idea to do this first page here. And honestly, such a great idea. Like, you never would think to put random colors together in your palette like this, and by doing so, it opens up so much more opportunity for your palette, especially with having 28 colors in this palette. There's endless possibilities for color mixing. It seems like I can get some pretty, bright mixes, some dark mixes, nice greens. So, I could paint any kind of subject with this palette, which is so exciting. Obviously, like I said before, I started this with the inspiration of doing more landscape art, but I'm really looking forward to doing more just even still life paintings, which you'll see here at the end of the video. And portrait paintings, which I love doing in oils, but watercolor now seems like a great idea after making this palette. So I think my future, you'll be seeing this palette pop up a lot. But in the meantime, enjoy this little swatch page. I really had fun making it, and like I said, I love the outcome of every single mix on here, and I hope you do too. Okay. That's almost a more muted, maybe more a background green, farther away. This one's it's getting closer and more vibrant. If you're thinking about depth in landscape painting. Quinacridone Magenta. Oof, it's beautiful. Mixed with, why not? Cobalt Teal Blue. That's a pretty purple. I'm curious to see how French ochre mixes with things. Maybe if I use this gray green and French ochre and kind of what color that creates. I have high hopes for it. It's so light. Ooh, I love that gray-green color. They're both like very muted, I feel like. But it's pretty. Ooh, look at how these are drying. Potter's Pink is so granulated. I had no idea. I love that though. I love that texture. Anyone else just like love texture? That's why I like cold press paper so much, is like the texture it gives. So when I was starting this whole watercolor journey, I knew I wanted to get like some good paper because I wanted to actually see what watercolor can do, you know? Unlike the paper I was swatching on, that's not 100% cotton. So it doesn't give you the same life in your watercolors as like this Archer's cold press does. Let's see. Ooh. I'm trying to think. Apatite Genuine. What does that look with Imperial Purple? This is a green color. Ooh. I might like that one more than the gray green. I don't know if it's been made obvious, but green is my favorite color. So greens get me really excited, which is I think what drew me to like wanting to dive into landscapes, because I love green. It's just hard with landscapes of knowing like how to manage all those greens, you know? The green is definitely the dominant color. Let's see. A bit more purple. I love that. It's so crazy how when you dry, it's like a whole different experience. That's why you gotta swatch, I guess. Ooh, Sepia. Let's do Sepia with Quin Magenta. Why not? I feel like anytime I do this kind of stuff, it always comes out so uniformed. I feel like my brain just like demands order. Order and organization is how it functions. Oh, whoops. Oh, well, accidentally put in the Potter's Pink. So we're doing Potter's Pink with Sepia. It's crazy how much Potter's Pink looks like Quinacridone Magenta on your palette, but they're nothing alike. Okay. Nice subtle. I see like you're doing like, what do you call cobblestone streets? And these colors right here would be perfect for that. Like cobblestone streets in shadow. That's what I see there. Sepia is such a good rich color. I love it. Let's do this transparent brown Oxide. Whoa, hello. Welcome to the party. I want to do this with Cat Red. Just feels good to be using these colors, man. I know I said I want to practice more landscapes, but I really want to do a portrait with these watercolors. I have no idea how it would go, and I don't know if I've really ever tried to do like a real colorful portrait with watercolors. I've only ever done like monotone type portraits. But I always love when people do watercolor portraits. I just get so intimidated, I guess. There's a couple artists I follow on YouTube, and they do like the 100 heads challenge, or if you do 100 different heads in your sketchbook, or I guess anywhere, any medium. But it'd be good to like challenge myself. I feel like I do best when giving myself like goals and challenges. I'm a very goal-oriented person. Kind of like finishing my sketchbook in 7 days. Like, probably wouldn't have finished that sketchbook until months from now if I didn't challenge myself. But I always feel so good when I'm done with them. So maybe, I mean, I don't know about 100 heads. That's like insane. Maybe I'll do like a 50 heads challenge, even though, you know, that's not the popular thing. But I would love to get good at like just being free with the colors and going on, doing a portrait like head on. Let's do Aussie Red Gold with Pthalo Green. Ooh, that's interesting. This one here. Ooh, this color is freaking gorgeous. Pthalo. This color is intense. These both are, they're two very intense colors coming together right here. Of course, Pthalo just kind of took over as it does. I also need to do better management of like how much water is in my brush. Freaking heck yeah. Look at how these are drying. Oh, I'm obsessed. Obsessed. I want to try the Pyrrole Orange next while we're on this. Oh, Pyrrole Orange and Moon Glow. It's orange and purple. Sorry, I have not been drinking enough water. My throat is like, why are we talking so much? Moon Glow. Oof. You can tell this color probably granulates. It's beautiful. That's interesting. I'm curious to see how that dries. I really like that Moon Glow color. It's very moody. What colors have I had not done yet? Raw Sienna, we can get a little crazy. Raw Sienna and Lunar Blue. I really like to test colors together that maybe you wouldn't think to put together, because you never know what kind of combinations you're missing out on, you know? This past year of doing my art practice, I've been a lot more experimental, which I feel like has made me a way better artist. Instead of like putting myself in a little box all the time of like, I'm an oil painter and I do portraits. I have way more fun with this new mindset. Like, people say you give yourself permission to play, and it's like such a real thing. And that's why I've been doing a lot of sketchbook art, is because like I'm trying to do like stuff that's low pressure, just so I can like let go of that perfectionism. And then I think I've gotten a lot better that I want to do, like I really do want to start tackling more like finished pieces. Because sometimes I do a sketchbook page, I don't know if this is anyone else, and you're just like, I wish I put that effort into like a non-sketchbook piece because it came out really good, and then now it's just in a sketchbook forever. I want things that are frameable, postable, hangable, sellable even. Not just in a sketchbook where it's folded up, tucked away, never to be seen again. Which is why it's so fun to come on, you know, YouTube, any other social media platform and share sketchbooks. I think that's like so popular because no one ever gets to see your sketchbook otherwise, you know? It's not gonna be hanging on a wall for friends to come in and see. Like, if it doesn't exist social media, it only ever existed to you in the moment that you made it. Because otherwise, even for like the artist who made the sketchbook, like it's just on our shelf, tucked away, especially when you finish it. Like, do you ever go reach for it to look at the art that you worked so hard on? But sketchbooks are super important, like I said. They've helped me a lot. And I've never had more fun with my art than I do, or than I have this past year. It's been amazing. It's been a very transformative year for me. It's very exciting to feel that way. Like some sort of like mental block has been lifted. What am I doing? There it is. There it is. What else can we do? Cerulean Blue. Let's do like a blue and a green to see how those play off each other. This one's a very subtle blue. It's good for like skies and water, shadows. And let's just try that with, let's do the Apatite Green. And sorry if it's not Apatite. I'm like, is it Apatite? I don't know how to really say the word for this color. Oh, look at that green, man. And look at this one. That makes a very nice, like, lime green. Like when the sun hits the grass or the trees. Have I used nickel Azo Yellow? Let's do that. Nickel Azo. Nickel. God, that word, it's so hard. Nickel Azo Yellow. Say that 10 times fast. Keepers. What do I want to mix that with? Ooh, let's do a green. I haven't done Cascade Green yet. That's beautiful. Very similar to that, but maybe more of like a muted version of that. I think that was the Aussie Red Gold and the Pthalo Green. Let's do one more. I don't think I've done burnt sienna with anything. Burnt sienna with sap green, nice little neutral. Let's do that. Ooh, being responsible, not clean my brush for dipping into a color. Been trying really hard to keep my colors clean right now. But I generally, when I'm like in the groove, like painting a scene or a picture, like I'm pretty messy with my paints. They get all muddied up, especially my gouache palette, my airtight gouache palette. Man, that thing's a mess. Especially after my 7 days of finishing like my sketchbook. That thing, I just cross-contaminate all my colors. All right, So that's a little fun, like, mixy swatch page and a great way to start a sketchbook. So technically this is a sketchbook, but I don't know. I feel like with these arches papers, like I feel like you can always cut these pages out and actually have like frameable work here. Let's find a picture to paint. Yeah. All right, so I'm looking up good old Pinterest here for some kind of reference photo. I honestly have no idea what I want to paint. I've been kind of addicted to drawing and coloring pears. I feel like when you get really comfortable with like one particular subject, you just keep doing it over and over again just because like it's comfy. When you're like familiar with something and you don't really have to think hard. Like, should I go like with like a still life sort of thing? I don't know if it's boring, but I do like to draw and paint like fruit a lot. And this one, guess what? I'm looking at a pear, but it's like a really cool like dark image of a pear, like a still life. Might be interesting to like attempt something that has like a more depth to it. I really like when I can see artists that can pull off depth and darkness, like with watercolor. Oh, let's try it. All right, so for this little pear painting, I'm gonna use this other watercolor paper that I've recently bought. It's cute little circular cold press paper from that brand Hanamuli. Oh, I don't know how to say it. I've never used their paper before, but I recently bought this tin of circular paper and then like a big like block of paper. Thought this would be kind of fun. And this is 5.1 inch diameter. All right, so the little sketch is done. Try to keep it pretty simple. All right, let's start painting. Now, I do realize that I picked a subject that maybe isn't real colorful, where maybe it seems like I'm not really using a whole lot of the colors in my palette. But throughout the process of painting this, I actually did use a lot of like different reds, browns, and greens that are on my palette. So it was a lot of fun having, you know, instead of working with a limited palette like I'm used to, like just having colors that seem like pre-mixed already and have a lot of depth to them. It was really fun to use. And what I was going for with this reference photo is the fact that there's a lot of contrast in it and a lot of depth of color. And that's something that I look for when I was picking this watercolor palette, is I wanted colors that can give a mood, can give good contrast. And sometimes I feel like with generic watercolor palettes, you're kind of missing those kinds of colors. So I am testing out how well this paper can hold layers, because I did quite a few layers on the pear here. And then also just trying to see like how dark I can get the picture. And I could have kept pushing it farther, to be honest, at the end, but this was kind of like a first run with the palette and didn't Didn't want to put like a lot of pressure on making it like perfect. You know, it's like a little color, like kind of like a color study in a way. But anyways, enjoy the process here. I had a lot of fun with this. I had a lot of fun using this palette, and I'll see you guys again at the end of the painting. Okay, I am calling this one done. I'm pretty happy with how it's come out. I'm trying really hard not to overwork it. But I like it. I kept it pretty simple. Try to get some good contrast in there. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's kind of like a good first run for my new palette here. So here's the painting next to its brand new palette. And yeah, I'm finished here. We did our swatch page. We did our kind of like color mixing swatch page. And then we did our painting. All right, so I am calling this done. I really enjoyed this. Here it is from far away. This is going to be known as the first little painting that my ultimate color palette created. I had a lot of fun with it. I had fun filling my pans, making my swatches, testing them all out. And I'm really excited that I finally have them laid out and accessible, and I can just pop them out to use and just continue with making my little paintings. That's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the little process, kind of seeing how I picked my colors and kind of how they all came together to create a cool little color palette. And then next time I am actually going to be showing you guys a video on how I organize all my paints, including my gouache, my acrylic gouache, the watercolors that you saw today, and then also my oil paints. I kind of did a little bit of reorganization of my desk space / painting storage. So look out for next video. I hope to release it sooner than next Saturday, maybe Tuesday, maybe sooner, maybe whenever it's done. All right, stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.